I'm not gonna be making a video about why downloading cracked, illegal plugins is bad and why you shouldn't be doing it, because we all do it. We've all done it. We've all had cracked versions of Serum or Massive or even a cracked version of Ableton. We've all done it and we're all guilty of it. So this video is gonna be about what really happens if you download cracked plugins and how you can lose money and all the different kinds of issues that can happen with downloading cracked plugins. So, guilty. Alright, the beanie was just for the thumbnail. I don't want to be called a hipster. I'm living in Hawaii. I don't need a beanie, so I'm stoked to be able to use it at least once. I'm not here to talk about how bad it is to download cracked versions of plugins and of DAWs. Now, the best example of that is Curtis King. If you don't know about Curtis King, he's an amazing mentor for all of the producers out there. He teaches how to sell beats online. He helps you promote your music. He helps you work with artists. He does great tutorials on FL Studio. Curtis King is one of those guys that I look up to because his business is just great. But he got caught with the cracked version of FL Studio. That's something that happens not that often, to be honest, but since his channel was growing so well and he was already making money from his beats and from his music, FL Studio contacted him, certainly to do some kind of promotion or brand deal with him, and they realized that Curtis King used the cracked version of Fruity Loops. So he did a great thing by making a video apologizing to FL Studio about using a cracked version and trying to save that relationship, because he probably lost a pretty big deal right there just because he used the cracked version of FL Studio. Now, that happens like once in a lifetime. They're not hunting down people who are using cracked versions. And I've used cracked versions for a long time of Ableton, Serum, Massive, Guitar Rig, and I've never got caught. I'm not saying it's okay to download illegal versions of plugins. What I'm saying is that we've all done it, we've all started somewhere, and we can't just drop $800 on Ableton, $200 on Serum, another $300 on Ozone. You know, it's a lot of money to start off with. But when you start making money, and this is the first thing that I want to say, if you start making money with your music, it's time to reinvest in the plugins that have helped you to make that money. It's just good karma. Now, I didn't do it, and I've lost crazy amount of opportunities. I lost well over $1,000 because of cracked plugins. And I'm gonna tell you why. So this was maybe 2 years ago. I received an email from a client that wanted the exclusive rights and the track outs to this one beat that I made, and I made it probably like 4 years ago. He was ready to pay $600 for it, which is perfect. And so the only thing he wanted me to do was actually modify a synth lead that I had inside of my project. And when I opened the project up again, this is like 2 years after making the beat, I realized that the version of Massive that I used was a cracked version, and on my computer I didn't have that exact cracked version of Massive again. So that track was dead, and I couldn't modify the MIDI. Well, I could modify the MIDI, but I couldn't find the sound that I used. I couldn't find the preset that I had. I couldn't find what tweaks I did. So I spent days and days trying to recreate the sound to finally send him an email and say, hey, this is the best I can get. I can't recreate the sound that I did. And I lost my credibility. I lost the client. I lost the $600 just because I used the cracked version of Massive. So I told myself, okay, fine. I don't want this to happen again. So that's why now I'm gonna save and export my tracks, export all the stems, so that in case that happens, I might be able to play around with the stems and kind of remodify the notes if I need to, if this situation ever happens again. That's why I started doing the video when I arrived in Hawaii. If you guys haven't seen it, how to save properly and export in Ableton Live, check it out. Good, I thought I was safe. Another year goes by, and then it happened again, so twice. And this time actually I got an email from a music supervisor he wanted to use one of my songs for one of his big commercials. I think it was for Fitbit, I don't really remember, but what I remember is that it was $800 to be able to use my song plus the royalties on the back end. The only issue was the guitars needed to have a little less distortion, especially the lead guitar. I said, okay, no problem, I'll take care of that. Open up the project. What happened? guitar rig was cracked, and on my new version of my computer, I didn't have the cracked version of guitar rig, so I lost the preset. So I only had this clean electric guitar all the way through, and I could not recreate the sound or something that even sounded similar to what I did. So I tried my best, again, spent time working on it. And the problem was this time, it wasn't that they didn't accept it afterwards, is that when I finished modifying it, which was maybe a week later, and I sent him the files, he never answered back because I took too much time to do it. So I followed up again, and then I just lost that opportunity because for sure they wanted a guy to send in the track right away with the modifications and do it now, because it was rushed. And that's what happens with TV placements a lot, is that it's time sensitive. So if you can't make the modifications that they ask you in a basic time frame, you're gonna lose the opportunities. And that's what happened with me. So because of this cracked version of guitar rig and trying to recreate the sound that I did years ago, I lost that $800 right there, and the royalties, and maybe my first TV placement. That was a huge bummer for me. And ever since then, I started saying, okay, this can't happen again. That's when I started investing in the plugins that I actually use every day. And that's something that I wanna say. Now we're in 2019, now we're in 2020. There's so many ways to be able to buy plugins and make it affordable. One, there's a great website called Sweetwater. You can buy plugins, you can buy instruments, and you can buy it monthly. So they'll send you out a credit card. I bought Ableton. I dropped the $800, $900 on Ableton to get that straight. I did the same thing with guitar rig. So I purchased it on Sweetwater. I'm paying like $11 a month for it. And at least I'm safe and I'm good. Now, another positive thing about buying plugins is that you're gonna learn how it works. You're gonna focus your attention on how the plugin works. What does this knob do? What does this do? It's just psychological. If you buy something, if you're ready to spend $300, or even if you're ready to spend $20 on a plugin, you're gonna run through that plugin, you're gonna read the manual, you're gonna check how it works, you're gonna test it out on several things, you're gonna use it on different tracks. You're just gonna be more productive with it, and you're just gonna be able to make the best out of those plugins. Now, if you download the whole Waves 200 plugin pack, you're probably gonna use one or two. You're not gonna really learn what it does. You're gonna lower the threshold and that's it on the compressor and done. So you're not even learning anything. So the good thing about buying plugins is also that it forces you to learn it, and it forces you to focus on what you need and get the sound that you want with those plugins. So that's a huge plus with purchasing plugins, and websites such as Sweetwater that help you make those plugins affordable. Is just, there's no reason why not to do it. Another website also is Splice. Splice allows you to pay a monthly fee for certain plugins such as Serum and Ozone. So I purchased those two plugins through Splice, and this is not a monthly fee like Netflix where you have to pay for your whole life. This is a rent to own process. So actually you're paying monthly until you have purchased the plugin, and then it's yours. So that's the best thing with Splice, and especially for all the EDM producers out there that do use Serum, you should invest in it. It's only $9 a month, $9.99, so like $10 a month, and then Serum is yours. And if you have any issues with Serum, you can always hit them up, ask them what the problem is. They can always help you back, and you're just more professional with it, and you're better with it. And then in the future, you're not gonna have the issues that I've had with those cracked plugins. And that's it. So try not to download illegal plugins. If you're starting out and you're not making any money, I'm not saying that it's good. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying I understand. But realize that further down the road, if you're really wanting to grow your business, if you really want to become a producer, or if you really want to become an artist, down the road, you're gonna have issues with the cracked plugins that you've used. So whenever you can invest in it, start investing in it, because you're gonna learn the plugin, you're gonna be better with the plugin, you're gonna have all the support that you need with the plugin, you're not gonna lose any of the presets. It's just gonna help you out on the long run. So you just need to start focusing on you, and if you believe in yourself, invest in yourself. So investing in a DAW, paying for the real Ableton is amazing, and same thing goes with all of the other plugins that you think you might need. So start investing in yourself. Much love from Hawaii. Peace out, and I'll see you Saturday for a new What's in Stock episode. Peace.